Hello and welcome to another video. In this case, we're gonna be taking a look at Nigredo, and more specifically, in case if someone wants to, get Nigredo or get either Nigredo and Heroic Light or only her, because her banner is just 2 days away or 2 days and a half away from going for maybe forever. We don't know, and I have a pretty decent Nigredo, and as you can see right here, she's one of my most powerful characters, as she is 6 stars. So, uh, what I'm gonna do here is gonna be explaining her skill set, her accessories, her benefits, and then tell you my recommendations on her awakening gems, on her relic set, her relic enhancement, her relic sub attributes, as well as the possible teams and compositions to play with Nigredo or around Nigredo the Crazy Watcher. So, to start, we can see here that she has on the basic attributes a lot of different ratings. She has C on magical defense, that means that she is very weak against magical attacks. B on physical defense, B on health, that means that she is mediocre. She is not good, she is not bad on that stat or, well, that attribute. And she has A on speed and S on attack. A on speed, she is a fast character. She moves fast, she moves quickly, but not as much as, the more meta characters. And S on attack, she is a heavy hitter, a very, useful damage dealer because she is a ranger class character, as we can see here. That the game classifies her as a single control and assist based character. From that, I will say that yeah, it's accurate, unlike other characters that usually tell you that they are damage over time when they are crit base or something like that. So this means that this character alone is not gonna perform as well as with one other character on her team as, at the very least. That means that if this character gets to be your last character standing on your team in a difficult match, you are probably gonna lose, because this is not a 1v1 specialist character. This is more of a team character, a team based character, I will say. But now, going to the accessories, we can see that she obtains 20% more assistance rate at tier level 3 of the accessories, 10% attack at tier 6, and 10% crit at tier 9, which is nice because this is an assist based character, so getting the assist rate at the very start is very, very nice, especially if you get her at low or medium levels, when you cannot get like tier 9 that easily, for example. And in case someone doesn't know, the assist rate or the assistance rate is the chance that this character in question has of performing a basic attack out of her turn during the turn of one ally. Like, for example, if I have Albedo and I have Nigredo on the same team, and I order Albedo to attack the enemy, there is a chance that during Albedo turn and during Albedo attack, Nigredo can jump and perform a basic attack on the enemy that Albedo was targeting before or even after Nigredo turn already took place, and she doesn't waste any of her cooldowns or she doesn't lose her normal turn meter boost. She's still gonna have her next turn without modifications and all of that. Now, the skill sets. The basic attack, prone, we can see that it's only an attack that goes from 105% attack to 120% attack, depending on the level, and has a 100% basic chance to inflict gaze debuff for one round. The gaze debuff is basically her passive that is gonna be the next part of this. So this is not really anything that useful. It's just a normal attack. It doesn't do a lot of damage, and the debuff it's only benefiting Nigredo. So this is not a debuff that you want to prioritize over control debuffs, for example. Now the passive skill, she will naturally have an increased assist rate of 15%. That means that she will have a total of 35, because it will be the 20 from the accessories plus this 15%. And she will have an advantage at 5 stars that she will randomly inflict the debuff gaze, the gaze debuff on 3 enemies for 2 rounds. As we saw in the basic attack, it only lasts for 2 rounds. This with the special advantage is gonna be double, it's gonna be 2 rounds. And this is the important part. What is gaze? Gaze is a debuff that increases Nigredo turn meter when the gaze targeted acts, and this debuff cannot be purified. That means that, for example, if Pestonia, a Healer Mare, or Anniversary Albedo throw their ultimates on someone to purify out the debuff, gaze is gonna stay there. They cannot get rid of that debuff, and it's gonna benefit Nigredo when they move. That means that when the enemies move, Nigredo is gonna get a benefit. So move is when they act, when they have a turn, regardless of what they do, even if they are controlled. And basically, this passive is that after a target with the gaze debuff acts, Nigredo will have a boost of 25% turn meter. Turn meter is the little bar that appears on the lower part of the screen during a match with the icons of all the characters that is gonna tell you the order of their turns. When an enemy with that debuff moves or acts, it could be whatever, when they attack, when they use a shield, when they heal themselves or heal others, or even if they are, for example, stunned and they cannot do anything, and their turn comes, they only get the stun debuff activated or deactivated in that case, and they didn't do anything, that still counts for the debuff, for the gaze bonification, and Nigredo will move incredibly fast on the turn meter, so she will have her turn way more often than other characters. That means that even if the game doesn't tell you, she is kind of like a multi-move character, because she's gonna attack, she's gonna put a debuff on the enemies, and when the enemies move, they're gonna boost Nigredo to have another turn way more often than she should be. So by the time Nigredo has, for example, 2 actions, there is a possibility that everyone else on the screen or everyone else on the game has only be playing 1 turn. So she can move very quickly and have multiple turns and multiple attacks by that, gaze debuff. Also, when an ally attacks a target with the gaze debuff, Nigredo's assist rate for this attack is increased by an extra 30%. Remember, it's 20% from the accessories plus 15% from the passive, and if they attack someone with gaze, she gains another 30%. That means that she's gonna have a total of 65% assist rate, which honestly is not a guarantee of an assist for Nigredo, but it's still a very nice chance of performing extra damage, and especially because at this moment there's not a lot of characters that give assist rate to others to improve them or something like that. So you have, if you want uh, an assist rate based team or characters, you have to rely on their base skills for that. So if you have her 4 stars or less, you're not gonna have the gaze on 3 enemies at the same time at the start of the game, but she still benefits from the enemies with gaze moving, but you will depend on a first move of Nigredo attacking the enemies and putting them on gaze state, or the allies proccing an assist from her. Now her first attack, the deep attack, she deals 170% attack. Upon hitting, she has a 100% fixed chance to extend the duration of 1 debuff on the target by 1 round, prioritizing control debuffs. And after the skill, Nigredo gains assistance rate or assist rate up for 2 rounds. Above that increases the assist rate by another 20%. So if we move Nigredo on her first turn to throw the deep attack, and we combine it with the accessories and her passive, she's gonna have a total of 85% assist rate. And now that is a lot. 85% is very likely that she's gonna be performing an assist almost every other attack of your other characters on the team. Now, if you upgrade the skill to the max level, also adds another extra perk to her skill. If the duration of the target debuff is successfully extended by Nigredo, the next attack has a 50% fixed chance to extend the duration of one debuff on the primary target by 1 round, prioritizing control debuffs up to 3 times. If it fails, it will no longer extend. What does the second and the 4 point here mean? Well, it means that she can extend, the worst states on the game that you can put on the enemies. What it means by control debuffs, that doesn't tell you here, it means both or debuffs like taunt, like what Tank Albedo or what Shasuryu do to the enemy. Like, let me show you here. It means skills like this, like for Lord Ainz from Albedo. It means this taunt. A debuff that forces the target to use basic attacks on the taunter. After removal, the target gains calm for 1 round, making them immune to taunt. That is false. The majority of characters do not get that. If the character is a boss, it will only influences who the boss targets. It includes other skills like, for example, stun. Like here, like Soul Devour combination, the stun, a control effect that inflicts immobilize on the target. It includes, for example, the freeze debuff for Sariusu. I think it's the only character that can put that specific debuff. That is, well, also includes bound, nullifies the turn meter boost effects by allies, and this frozen, a control effect that inflicts immobilized, reduces the speed by 15%, and decreases the effect resistance by 15%. But also includes the silence debuff. That, for example, the one that Pestone has here with Divine Persuasion, she grants silence, blah blah blah. A debuff that prevents the use of active skills other than basic attacks. So what does that mean is that if one enemy that Nigredo is targeting with her second skill, the Div Attack, has any of those debuffs that I told you, if the enemy has silence, or the enemy is frozen, or is stunned, or is taunted, she is gonna extend that debuff. Even if the enemy has multiple debuffs, like the enemy could have speed down, high tier defense down, it can have bleed, shock, and then it has taunt. Well, when Nigredo attacks, it's gonna prioritize to extend the taunt. So taunt will last for 2 rounds, and the enemy will have to target the same character 2 rounds in a row with only a basic attack. Or if you stun the enemy, or you froze the enemy, and then Nigredo attacks, then the enemy, after their first turn, when they cannot do anything because they're either frozen or they're stunned, they remain like that. They remain, with the same effect. Like if they're frozen, they still remain like an icy block there. If they are stunned, they remain, moving their head in circles with the little stars moving above their heads. Or if the enemies are silenced, even after 1 round of being, restricted to using just one basic attack, they will have to do it again. And after the first time that she extends the debuff, if she can attack the same enemy again with the deep attack before the enemy, gets rid of the debuff, before they end the stun effect or something like that, she has now not 100 but a 50. That means that this prevents Nigredo from, for example, equipping Vertmare set and endlessly keeping one enemy under the stun effect or under silence or taunt effect. Which is, a little bit of a nerf to Nigredo and her ultimate potential, but still I can see that the nerf is trying to make this character fair. So the enemies have a chance after the first time that they got a debuff extended to, get rid of that and fight back. So this has a limit of 3 times. Every time that she does that, she will gain another bonification thanks to her Arclight. That is this one right here. The Arclight gives her a certain amount of attack, certain amount of health by level, and she obtains 10% assist rate at 1 star that increases with the number of stars. We already saw that she can obtain, in a combination of her passive skill, the enemies hitting a target with gaze, her accessories, and her second skill giving her assistance rate up. Plus this, she will have a total of 95% assist rate. But you need to do something specific to get that 95%. You need to, on the first round of Nigredo, use her second skill, the deep attack. So she obtains the assistance rate up instantly or as soon as possible, and that is at 20% more. And after that, you need your other characters, your other, team members, to attack enemies with the gaze debuff. And that will trigger like a 20 or 30% extra on her. And that's all. You need two steps. The first step, first turn of Nigredo, throw her second skill, the deep attack. Second step, always or try to always target enemies with the gaze debuff. And with that, she will have during 2 rounds a total of 95% assist rate. And after that, the debuff or of assist rate up will end. So you will need to throw deep attack again and so. But yeah, that is the steps or the little combo you need to have Nigredo with a 95% assist rate. And you can get her to 100% if you get more stars on her arc light. Now, the exclusive effect of Nigredo is what combos with her second skill, the deep attack. When she attacks a target with gaze, she will have an increase of critical chance of her damage by 15%. And for each debuff successfully extended, that means the second skill, increases the critical damage by 7.5% up to 22.5% for 2 rounds. So she is obtaining crit not only because of her accessories at tier 9, but also because of her Arclight exclusive effect, and she obtains not only critical chance, but also extra damage, like plain damage, and extra critical damage. So that already tells us what we should be prioritizing when we get to her accessories. Sorry, when we get to her relic sets, relic sub attributes, enhancements, and the awakening levels. So basically, the more you can use the second skill of Nigredo to extend enemy debuffs, the more critical damage she will have at the end, which is really nice. So, to put it short, what you have to do is throw the second skill, then focus your other characters, your other allies, to focus on attack enemies that have the gaze debuff from Nigredo, so she will have a ton or almost guaranteed assist rate. And try to use the second skill of Nigredo on the characters that are under control effects, that have stun and all of that. If the enemies do not have any control status effect on them, if they are not under any control debuff, what this skill is gonna do is that it's gonna extend a random debuff. The game doesn't prioritize anything aside of control debuff. So if the enemy has, for example, high tier defense down, speed down, and bleed, it can be any of those three that she extends. It could be any. And sometimes, I don't know why, it doesn't say it here, but sometimes, and you're gonna see it on gameplay if you pay attention to the status bar or the effects bar of the characters when we get to the practical part of the guide. Sometimes she can extend two debuffs at once, one of control and one normal. Like she can extend a high tier defense down debuff at the same time that she is extending a stun debuff. The game doesn't tell you, but it's something that you will notice if you play her. Now, the ultimate, the Corset Stitch. She's throwing an area of effect attack here that is gonna deal 230% of her attack as damage to the primary target, and 165% of her attack as damage to the targets at the left and the right of that target. That means that unlike the majority of area of effect skills on the game, this doesn't hit all the enemies on the screen. This is like Seshi's second skill, for example. If you aim this skill to hit one of the center characters of the game of the enemy composition, the ones around on the middle, you can maximize the damage output and hit up to 3 enemies at the same time. But you cannot hit the 4 enemies on the screen, or 5 or 6, depending if you are, against players and their compositions and multiplayer, or if you're against NPCs. So you can hit up to 3 enemies with this skill if you position the skill correctly. Hitting grants a 100% basic chance to inflict silence on the primary target for 1 round. I already told you what silence is, but here it is again. A debuff that prevents the use of active skills other than basic attacks. So the enemies will be forced to use one basic attack against anyone that they try to focus for one round. But remember that you can, extend other silence effect with second skill of Nigredo. If you use other character that silences, then you can use Nigredo to extend it. Also, uh, the 4-star bonification of this skill, like when Nigredo gets to 4 stars, when she uses the ultimate, she is gonna nullify the enemy's sharing support and shield wall effects. Sharing is what, for example, Valkyrie Shaltiar does, that redirects part of the damage that her allies receive directly to her. So, if you're facing something like Tank Kokiotos with his ultimate or Valkyrie Shaltiar, for example, when Nigredo attacks, in this case, Valkyrie Shelter will not be able to absorb any part of the damage from Nigredo. So the enemy that you're focusing will lose the tankiness that the tank provides. In this case, Valkyrie Shelter. Support is what Tank Sisita and, for example, SR Yuri does. That is that they jump and get in the way of enemy attacks and their allies. Like if I use Pandora Sector and I try to focus Entoma, for example, on the enemy composition, but the enemy has either a tank Sisita or have an SR Yuri, there is a big probability that when Pandora Sector attacks, the Yuri or the Sisita on the enemy team is gonna get in the way and intercept the attack from my Pandora Sector to block it themselves so their Entoma doesn't receive any damage. This skill basically bypasses that, so you're free to, humiliate. You can absolutely wreck the backline of the enemy without their tanks being able to help them. And Shield Wall is what Tank Hamuske, the Dead Knight, or Tank Kokyutos does. That basically puts a target on themselves and forces your team to attack them, to focus on attacking them certain number of times before you can attack other members of the enemy team. So with this, you can bypass a lot of the defenses that the enemy tanks can provide. Also, this attack has an increase of 20% chance of dealing a critical hit. And after the skill, if the primary target has a control debuff, Nigredo will gain a crit boost for 2 rounds. That means that, for example, if you throw the Curse Stitch, the ultimate of Nigredo, to an enemy that is already stunned, Nigredo, after hitting the enemy, will have extra 20% crit for 2 rounds. Or, if Nigredo was successful in inflicting the silence debuff on the target, after the damage is done, she will also gain the crit boost, and she has 20% crit naturally when attacking with the ultimate. So, after the ultimate, you can still enjoy the initial crit that you obtained with the ultimate. And if you have Nigredo 6 star, or if you want her to be 6 stars, you will have another advantage, or well, another upgrade, that when she hits a target with gaze with her ultimate, she will have 30% turn meter boost. That means that after her turn ends, instead of going all the way back to the left of the turn meter bar, she will be 30% ahead of everyone else there. With this another character. So, we can see that she obtains crit also from the ultimate, not only from the accessories. And what does that mean? That means that this is a character heavily inclined to the speed, the critical damage, and some bit of effect precision. Not a lot like I have here, but some kind of effect precision as well as critical damage. What we can guess, for example, is that if you play your cards right, Nigredo will naturally have always 30% crit, and she will have a ton of assist rate. And that is what we're gonna focus on: the awakening and the relics. Now, the awakening levels, you can see I have her only level 15, which is not a lot, honestly, but it's realistic because not a lot of people can play that game mode and be successful on these stages. So what I will recommend you on the first and the level 20 gem, because there's the same gem that goes there, is this one, the energy gem Atack, the one that increases it by a percentage. Because it's infinitely better an increase of 2.5% attack on a character that has 6k attack than one that increases it just by 30 points. So yeah, always focus that one in both cases, level 5 and level 20. For the gem, the round gem that is at level 10 and 25, you can choose. You have three options. You can have the might gem crit, you can have also the might gem critical damage, this one, the critical damage, and you can also have the might gem effect precision, and the three are absolutely good. The three work wonderful on her. If you are struggling to get her to a high, amount of critical chance, put the one that gives crit, this one. If you already have like 70% crit on Nigredo, or even 60% crit on Nigredo, or more, 60 or more, instead put the one that increases the critical damage, because that will increase the performance of Nigredo when she achieves a critical hit. Or if you have absolutely nothing or almost nothing or of effect precision, you have a very low amount like 10%, then put the effect precision one, because she needs effect precision to successfully put the gaze debuff on the enemy with her basic attacks and her assistance. So if she doesn't have any effect precision, she will struggle to put her debuff on the enemies, and if she doesn't put the gaze on the enemies, she will not have that increased assist rate when the enemies attack, when your allies attack enemies with gaze. She will not have the turn meter boost on her own turn when the enemies take action. She will not be able to successfully track the enemies and move behind them. So you need effect precision on her. Now for the gem at level 15, the rare gem, in, instead of the one I have here that is magical defense, I will recommend you either attack or speed. Attack, because is the best stat of Nigredo, or speed, because speed is really really good. Remember that she has A on speed, so the higher speed she has, the faster that she's gonna move, the more efficient out her moves are gonna be, and the more likely you're gonna have one of the very first turns on the game as soon as the match starts, so you will have an advantage over the enemy by playing first and probably throwing the ultimate, controlling an enemy, things like that. So I would recommend you attack or speed. If you want to max Nigredo and so, I recommend you the speed one. And for the last one, the specialized class one, I would recommend you this, the power gem assist rate. The lowest level is 1.5%. Remember that I told you, with the Arclight at 1 star, Nigredo at 4 stars, the very least 4 stars, that is very easy to get, and upgrading her skills and playing how I told you, that is, first turn of Nigredo, throw her second skill, and after that, use your other characters to focus enemies with the debuff gaze, that will get you to 95% assist rate. If you use this, you will get closer to the 100% without needing to get extra Arclight stars, that is usually very expensive. And if we go here to the crafting zone, we can see that at max level is 15% assist rate. You will get over 100% assist rate. But let's say that you get the gem to legendary grade, is 10%. Or let's say you got this gem to epic level, 6%. That is enough. You only have to get it level up 2 times to get 6% assist rate, combined with the 95% that Nigredo will have, and you will get 106% assist rate. With this, you can literally guarantee that after her second skill is used, she will always make an assist on all the other attacks of your team, unless Nigredo is frozen or is stunned. But otherwise, she will always throw an extra basic attack on her allies' turns, which is great, especially if you have her, full damage or full crit. Now, the relic set. As you can see here on the relic set, I have the stars one. But I will tell you the truth. If you want to maximize Nigredo potential, go Termination. Go Termination set instead of the star set. The reason I have a star set on her is because when I got Nigredo for the first time, I didn't have Termination sets. I have like 2 or 3 good Termination sets, And in that time, I was saving my best termination set for when I got my hands on Mate Albedo. I have another termination set that I was saving up for Entoma, and I have a third one that I don't remember on who I was already using it, so I didn't have any termination set to spare on Nigredo. And what I did was reading the skills, saw that she did a lot of assist, and give her the stars because of her bonification will be increased by this set. But I will recommend you, yeah, exactly the one that is here. I would recommend you either Vertmare set, Start set, or Determination set. And each one of those has different, approaches. It will change your playability a little bit. Let's say that you gain or you go with Vertmare set. Vertmare set increases your crit a little bit more. It's gonna be up to 15%, which is nice because you can have that 15% plus the 10% of her accessories. That is a total of 25%. Plus, when she ults, will have another 20%. So she will have 45%. And after the ult, if the enemy had control, she will remain with that extra 20% crit chance. So she will already have 45%. You only need 60 or 65% to have, the 100% crit on Nigredo. It is not bad at all. But the important part here is the combo that Vertmare set does with her second skill. Vertmare set gains up to a 40% chance to reduce the skill cooldown by 1 round after the skill, which is really nice because it means that Nigredo can throw her second skill, the Vertmare set can activate, and when it activates, reduces 1 round of her skill, and by the next turn that Nigredo gains, by either natural progression of the turn meter or because she got boosted by her passive or something like Pestonia Ultimate, for example, that gives 100% turn meter boost. By the time she plays again, she will have the second round of her skill deep attack reduced. So that means that she could throw the second skill 2 turns in a row. That means that, for example, if you play, let's say, Seshi with Nigredo, Seshi, Nigredo are your damage dealers, and you have whatever other 2 characters you want. You play Seshi first, you stun one enemy. Maybe the enemy doesn't die because of tankiness or a revival or whatever. Then you go play Nigredo, you throw the deep attack on that enemy that is stunned. The enemy will have the stun extended by 1 round, so the enemy is gonna be stunned by 2 rounds. And then the other enemies move. The other enemies have a turn. Your tanks, your healers have a turn. They defend, they heal, whatever. After the enemies had a turn, because Seshi threw the enemy turn meter back by 30% with her ultimate as well as stunning it, that enemy is gonna have the last turn of the 8 characters in the match. So, by the time that 2 or 3 enemy characters already played before the one that was stunned and extended the stun by Nigredo, Nigredo will likely have a second turn. So, if Vertmare set activated, by the second turn of Nigredo, the first enemy that you focused on extending the stun it hasn't already been given even a single action. So the enemy is still stunned right there and is still waiting for a turn. So with Nigredo you can throw the second skill again, and after you do that, you extend the stun again. Well, you have a 50% fixed chance. Let's say that you get lucky. Let's say you got lucky with a 50% chance, you can extend it again, so the enemy will have a stun for 3 rounds. So that means that immediately after Nigredo turn, the enemy takes action. 1 stun round will be, used. Then there is another entire 2 rounds that the enemy is still stunned, unless someone purifies the stun or something like that. And the same goes for the silence effect, or the taunt effect, or the frozen effect. So Vertmare set here is to play with her deep attack. Vertmare set is to try to get her second skill as often as possible so she can extend the debuffs over and over again. If you didn't got lucky, well, you can throw the ultimate on the second turn, and that is still another form of control, so you still obtain, bonification from that. And that is mostly for a team play. So if you go Vertmare, you upgrade her crit and you try to get her second skill as much as possible, so you extend the stuns on the enemy or the control effects on the enemies. If you go a Termination set, for example, let me show you a really good Termination set. I'm gonna say this one, for example. If you're gonna go a Termination set, is to boost specifically these two stats that I'm showing you right here. And this, I'm gonna tell you, if you're going either Termination or Vertmare, the sub attributes of the relics are gonna be the same, okay? It's gonna be the same. So from this Termination mask or Vertmare, Garland or whatever, the focus should be this crit and speed. Here, for example, you can see S on crit, S on speed. That is a lot. It's really, really nice. The rest can be, forgotten. It's not really that useful. From, for example, the plate, B on crit, A on attack, S on speed, S on defense. That is really, really good. Everything works there for Nigredo. More crit, it plays into her ultimate, plays with her accessories. The speed plays with her basic attributes, attack as well. Defense, so she doesn't die, for a moment ultimate or something like that. The blunderboss, Termination blunderboss here. A on defense, okay. A on critical damage, nice. Always, every time you get crit, try to get critical damage as well. So if you have both at the same time here on the same relic, is really nice. S on attack, so even if your character doesn't crit, still does a ton of damage, which is really, really nice. Not only that, we can go to the base. B on attack, S on damage boost, S on speed. Still really nice because you're playing into the strong side of a character. You're making your character move fast, hit hard, and having a chance of dealing critical damage to the enemy, which is always really, really good. If you, for example, are not combined or you think that is not a good set, you can use this other one as an example. A on crit, S on damage boost, B on speed, A on attack, S on crit, A on effect precision. This will be really nice for example, the gaze debuff on Nigredo, so you don't have effect precision on zeros. Then you can have here more attack, crit, speed, or the base, more attack, speed, and crit. So that is basically the same. If you're going Termination set on her, you're maximizing her damage as much as possible, and that is in both in turn and out of her turn. So you're increasing because Termination set allows you to deal damage that ignores part of the enemy defense, like here. Nullifies 30% of the target defense, which is really nice. So when Nigredo ultimate goes to a certain enemy, she will not only ignore things like sharing from possible enemy tanks or the support or the shield wall effects, but she will also ignore defense of the enemy. That means two things. One, it opens you the possibility of one-shotting or two-shotting, enemy ranger or enemy mage, even an enemy healer, because you will ignore their defense, and those characters usually have low defense. Or two, you can focus a tank, and because you're ignoring such a high amount of their defense, they will not look as tanky as they really are. So that is for maximizing Nigredo damage against all kinds of targets. Now, the other option, that is the one I have right here, the star set, doesn't increase your critical chance. Instead of that, increases your attack by 15%, your plain attack, your basic attribute, which is still very nice because Nigredo has S on attack. But the effect, the exclusive effect, is very different. Increases the damage of counter, assist, and chases by 35%. From here, Nigredo will only get the benefit of the assist because she doesn't counter naturally and she doesn't chase naturally. You can make her counter chase if you combine her with other characters, that is true, but that is not something that she's gonna be doing often, even if you push her into those teams. So, this is in case that you want Nigredo to do two things mainly. One, to be a second or support damage dealer. That means that she is not gonna be your main damage dealer. And two, if you want her to absolutely annoy the enemy. What does that mean? Well, means that, for example, I'm gonna pair Nigredo with other damage dealer that might be more powerful or more useful for me. Okay, for me. I could, for example, tell you, okay, I'm gonna pair Nigredo with Mate Albedo. Both are assist-based characters, both deal critical hits, both can bypass the shield wall or the support effects on the enemies. And lore accurate Nigredo and Albedo are sisters. Uh, so Nigredo will be supporting my Albedo because my Albedo can ignore target defense not only because of her termination set but also because of her arc light. So she will naturally be dealing more damage to the enemy than Nigredo because she can ignore way more defense than Nigredo ever could, even if she had termination set of the highest quality. In this case, the sparkles and the prismatic relics. So my Nigredo will be the main damage dealer, but in case, or if I want to have a guarantee or more probabilities of killing the enemy, because it's very common that you throw a heavy attack and the enemy survives with 10% health, 5% health, or so, there is a chance that Nigredo will deal an assist and she will finish off that enemy. Or, for example, I throw the skills of Albedo to weaken one enemy to damage it, and I call maybe Albedo deal 40% damage of the total health of the enemy in her attack, and then Nigredo went in and deal an assist. And because she will have 35% assist rate, 35% increased assist damage, that extra damage on her basic attack and her assist will probably make her, deal, let's say, 50% of the total health of the enemy as damage. That means that the enemy will lose a total of 55%. And if they crit, even more. So I can weaken the enemy, enough so they remain in low health thresholds. So my next turn I can ult with Albedo and finish them off because she is a finisher. That's what I mean when I said that Nigredo is gonna be a second damage dealer or a support damage dealer. That means that she is not gonna be the one dealing the highest amount of damage on the team, but she's really gonna be helping to secure the kills. She can even do what is known as the KS, the kill secure or the kill steal. So that will be the main one, and the second will be to annoy the enemy because of her second and ultimate. Her second skill will increase control effects, so if I pair Nigredo with Sariusu or Tank Albedo, I could constantly increase the amount of rounds that the enemy is taunted or frozen, so they literally get really, really annoyed on multiplayer, for example, if they do not have anything to purify their characters. And the ultimate is also another form of control, so you can silence again. And if you combine that in a control team, and if you can know or predict that your enemy doesn't have many purification skills or doesn't have anything at all, you could constantly be nullifying the enemy turn so they never play, or they play under your rules and you can play freely and kill the enemy whenever you want. So now that I told you those relic sets, it's up to you. Like, you want to maximize damage against everything, termination, and you focus crit and speed. You want to go Vertmare, then it's because of utility. It's because you want to extend as many debuffs on the enemy as possible, and you're gonna be playing Nigredo with characters that can control the enemies and that can boost the turn meter of Nigredo. And if you're going star set, it's because you're gonna be using her alongside another damage dealer to try and secure the kills in as little as few turns as possible. And if you want to constantly annoy the enemy, because if the enemy want to focus your main damage dealer, guess what? Nigredo still does a lot of damage. She can still attack during your healer or your tank turn, and she can put control on the enemy so she can disrupt the enemy synergy or the enemy strategy. And either way, if the enemy try to do the other way around, if they try to focus Nigredo instead of your main damage dealer, they're gonna suffer, because your main damage dealer is gonna be hitting freely the enemy. It's gonna be hitting them and harassing them over and over again without any retaliation, and the enemy will likely lost one or two characters by the time they bring down your Nigredo. Now, now that I say that, these are my relics for Nigredo, my specific ones. These stars Hercher, I don't know how to say that. Stars Hercher, no idea. B on magical defense, A on defense. That is not really why the relic is here. A on HP, so she doesn't get one-shotted or destroyed by any collateral damage, you know. S on attack. That is the main reason why I have that here, the S on attack. Because it's a perfect S. It's a 10% extra attack. Now the stars protection, the armor, I have it because of these three. A on speed, so my Nigredo still plays into her strong side. S on critical damage, so if she crits, she hits a lot. And C on attack. C is really, really bad. Like, really, is the lowest rating you can get there. But, as you can see here, I do not have any other, like, stars upgraded. Like, this could be good with damage boost and so, but it's not what I would recommend you to focus the most. Like, that was a B, nah. This one here is for the critical damage and the speed mostly. Now I have an execution sphere, not a stars weapon. That's because you only need 3 pieces to get the relic set effect. And this is really nice, really, really nice. A on HP, so she doesn't die that easily. A on critical damage, because when she crits, she will perform even better. S on effect precision and S on crit. S on crit really nice, higher chances of her of critting when she attacks, and it's incredibly good here because she doesn't have extra crit because of her set is stars and not termination of Vertmare, so I have even less crit than usual, and this will help me mitigate that a little bit. But the S on effect precision helps me a ton, because if that was a B or a C, it would have I will be obligated to get another effect precision on another relic, like have it on 2 or even 3 relics to have a decent amount. But because I got S on effect precision here and get me 19%, I don't have to worry on gaining effect precision in other relics, and I can focus on more offensive stats. This is really a decent amount of an upgrade on effect precision, so Nigredo can successfully be putting the Gaze debuff on the enemies. And the base. Another B on health and effect precision, so 19 plus 11, it's 30%. That is already nice, combined with 100% basic chance, is not that bad. S on crit, I already told you why that is good, and A on speed, so my Nigredo still remains really, really speedy. It's not gonna be at the level of a Seshi, for example, with 250 speed or something like that, but it's still between all the SSR characters that have A on speed, she is one of the fastest ones, if not the fastest when you upgrade it. Now, the relic enhancements. The number one to obtain is this, the Hot Pursuit. At level 1, chases or assist attacks deal additional damage equal to 13% attack. As you can see, I have it level 4, that is an additional damage equal to 61% attack. Is a lot. It doesn't sound like a lot, but remember here is that 61% attack plus the 35% from the star set. So you made the math, and that is a 96% attack, which is a lot, honestly. And if you get to level 5, that I wasn't able to, but I'm fine with that, it will be additional damage equal to 80% attack, and the additional damage nullifies 40% defense. It's giving you even better than Termination set, because Termination nullifies 30% defense. This effect is 40. It's way better, if you can obtain it, of course. And you will have 80% extra attack, plus the 35 of the star set. That is like 115%, which is really nice. I will tell you, even level 2 is nice, okay? Even level 2 is really, really nice, works fine. But try to focus the Hot Pursuit enhancement to get it to the highest possible level that you can, okay? And you will really see the difference there. As the second, enhancement to prioritize is also here, punch for punch. Punch for punch gives you critical chance from level 1 to 5, from level 6 to 10. It's giving you extra crit chance and damage boost, which increases all kinds of damage that the character deals. That will increase your assist attacks, your normal attacks, your ultimate, your critical hits, and your non-critical hits. That is really good. As you can see, I do not have more than just one level, where I recommend you at least level 6. But in my case, I don't have the punch for punch because I focus it on the next one. That is unedited shot. This one right here. From level 1 to 5 increases your effect precision by a certain amount, but from level 6 to 10, aside of effect precision, increases your speed. And as you saw on my relics, I got 30% effect precision. And I have this to level 10. So was mostly because I got lucky. I wasn't really searching for this enhancement. I really got it when I was enhancing the relics and so, and I decided to let it in because it plays into the character a little bit, and I like it the way that I had an enhancement level 10. It was my first one. So I have 30%, and this gives me 40. I have 70% extra effect precision and 10 speed. 10 speed is not a lot, but it helps because my Nigredo got extra speed on her relics, but it wasn't S on speed. It was like A or B. So this helps her a bit. This helps you because the more effect precision you have, the more likely you are to affect the debuff of gaze and the silence on the enemy. Because if you have only your 100% basic chance of putting the debuff and you face an enemy with, for example, 70% effect resistance, you have very low chances of inflicting the debuff on the enemy. So the more effect precision you have, the more likely you can counter the enemy effect resistance and successfully put the debuff. Now, this alongside Unstoppable will be the ones that I recommend you as the last ones. Blade Round and Unstoppable. Blade Round increases your attack from level 1 to 5 in plain amounts, from level 6 to 10. It's only, well, also aside of plain amounts, is also increasing it on percentage from 8 to 20%, which is really nice because this is the strongest stat of Nigredo. It's the strongest of all. Remember, she only has one S, and the S was on attack. That's it. Let me see if I can find the Unstoppable one. No, I don't have the Unstoppable one here. Let me change here. Here it is, Unstoppable. And let me reset the relics so I can show you properly the levels. Here it is. Unstoppable. From level 1 to level 5 increases your critical damage on percentages. But from level 6 to level 10 increases your critical damage on percentage and gives you an assist rate of 6%, and level 10 gives you 15%. This means that if you, for example, cannot afford the last level of awakening and the last gem on your character because you cannot get past the levels, the stages, and so, because it's like a pay to win mode almost, well, you can get this enhancement to level 6, so you gain 6% assist rate, and doing the combo that I told you, the second skill, first turn, and then focus on enemies with gaze, you will have a Nigredo with 101% assist rate, which is incredible, like really, really nice. You can guarantee the assist every other turn of your characters with this. So my recommendations are those. Focus on Hot Pursuit, focus on Punch for Punch, on Blade Round, on Earring Shot, and the Unstoppable. You can see here on the enhance, this is the main one, Hot Pursuit. Chaser assist attacks deal additional damage equal to 61% of attack. That is, the main thing that you should be trying to get here. Oh, I still have time. I was worrying about the time a little bit. Now that I have covered that, we got into the teams and compositions to play with or around Nigredo. So, what are those? First of all, you can go for a full assist rate team. That means that you can pair Nigredo with, for example, Entoma, the SSR version, because she has naturally a certain percentage of assist rate. You can combine her, and I would highly recommend you to combine Nigredo with Mate Albedo because she has a ton of assist rate, and she can guarantee 2 assist attacks after using her second skill. So if you want to, be guaranteed, you don't want to take chances in maybe getting an assist, maybe don't. You pair her with Mate Albedo, and you guarantee some assist attacks. You can put her with Momon, the Halloween version, the new one. He has a natural 20% on his accessories, and he also has, let me see here, extra 50% because of his special buff on the second skill. So he can get up to 70%. You can pair Nigredo with other assist-based characters that will be characters like, for example, Hamuski, the original version. The organic Hamuski, let's say. Mostly because this attack will, launch an assist on the ally with the highest attack and lowers the enemy's defense. So the enemies have less defensive capabilities and will most likely, make Nigredo launch an assist even if her probabilities didn't roll on the favor. And when the allies perform an assist, increases damage by a certain percent. So you want a full assist team, you can put Atis Hamuske, Nigredo, Mate Albedo, and SSR Entoma. See who launches the assist first, and each assist will have extra damage because of Hamuske. Only bad thing is that you have full squishy team. You will not have a healer or a tank. But you can combine, can combine one or two of those characters with a healer and a tank, and you will be fine. Other curious variant you can do is with this Yuri, the SR Yuri. Because this Yuri has a 50% chance of making one Pleiade perform an assist with extra damage based on Yuri Yuri defense. That means that Yuri can make any Pleiade and Pestonia as well. She isn't a Pleiade as well as Sebas. He's not a Pleiade, but Yuri can make all the Pleiades, Pestonia, and Sebas perform an assist if they are played with Yuri when she attacks. That means that you can go Nigredo, Yuri, the SR version. Then you can go any other, like for example, healer. You can go healer Lupus Regina, for example, just to have a healer. And then you run any other Pleiade that has high damage. Like Narberol, like Solution. It can be any version. Like this Solution also fits. It can be this Entoma, the SR version. It can be the SSR version of Entoma that I told you earlier. She can also gets into that, let's say into that category. Or you can put, for example, the limited now if you have her. And what is gonna happen is that when Yuri attacks, she will perform an assist. Well, she has a chance of making one Pleiade, in this case, for example, this Nave, perform an assist, and then Nigredo has her own chance of doing an assist attack. So you can have 2 assists on the same turn of Yuri when Yuri attacks in, for example, throwing her ultimate, and then you still have 1 turn for other characters that you may want to have. So, for example, one of the teams that I was seeing that I will recommend you using this composition is SR Yuri, Nigredo, this Nave, and either any healer or any tank that you want. And specifically because of the Mighty Thunder and the Surging Thunder of Nave. That's why I will recommend her with the Yuri. What is gonna happen when Yuri attacks? She can make this Nave perform an assist. She will deal certain amount of damage and blah blah blah. But the important part is that she will gain damage boost as an increase of 30% damage. She could obtain that without using any of her turns. So she can perform an assist. Nigredo can also perform an assist. Yuri will be most likely throwing her ultimate to control one enemy and proccing the assist. And when the Nave turn comes in, you are no longer needed to throw this attack to activate her damage boost because the assist attack already make her activate that. So you can go first turn, throw the ultimate, deal an incredibly high amount of damage, put all those top debuffs on the enemies. You can put debuff immunity on herself and she will have the increased 30% damage of the damage boost in her first turn. So you will have an incredibly powerful attack on the first turn of Nave, more stronger than usual, thanks to that composition. And because the enemy will be very low on health after Nave attacks, Nigredo can do an assist on Nave ultimate turn, and she can, Nigredo can finish off the enemies. And it plays also into the team that I told you, the one with star set, where Nigredo is going to be your second damage dealer. So if the enemy is focused on Nigredo, Nave is going to kill them. If the enemy is focused on Nave, aside that Nave is hard to kill and she can revive, they're going to get very annoyed because Nigredo will constantly be silencing them and dealing damage to them. So that is one variant. You can do a pleiades team with Nigredo that is also an assist team. You can also go for a full assist team, like I told you, with Maid Albedo, with Momon, and so with Entoma. You can also go a full, speed team, a full team that has Aeon speed or more. So all your characters move fast and offer, constant harassing on the enemy. That includes Nigredo. That includes characters like Halloween Momon. It includes things like Seshi, like Tank Sisita, or Tank Hamuske. All of those characters with S on speed or even A on speed. Like, for example, Yuriko Kyoto's here if you want to offer her more room for error in case that she's gonna get her, she's gonna get in trouble and low health. So you use the Indomitable buff, and so you can also put this Albedo or put this Sentoma, A on speed. You can go full speedy team. Nigredo will help you. You can go wild there with the compositions. There is not really synergy on the speed team, aside that they're gonna move all very fast, and each time the enemies slow one or two or even three of your characters, Nigredo will get an increase on her turn meter boost, and she's gonna still remain a speedy character, a fast character. Also, you can go a full control team. That means, for example, you can use this solution or this Yuri. Why? Well, that solution can silence the enemy. That Yuri can stun the enemy. You can go this Platinum Armor Lord. At 4 stars, his second skill can stun the enemy. Sorry, at 6 stars, his second skill can stun the enemy. You can go this Lizardman Suryo. He can taunt the enemy. You can go this Aura. She can stun the enemy with the ultimate, with the passive, with the second attack as well. You can go with Sariusu, because he can freeze the enemy, he can freeze the enemies. You can go with Pestonia. Pestonia can put a debuff that is, let me see how it's called, the debuff, sorry. She can put the Divine Persuasion on some ally and make that ally silence the enemies when the ally attacks. So she can indirectly put silence. You can pair Nigredo with this Yaldabaoth because he can taunt. You can pair her with Big Team because Big Team can stun multiple enemies multiple times. You can pair her with this Hamuske because it can stun the enemy and throw their turn meter back with the second skill. You can put Nigredo with this Shizu because she can taunt the enemies. You can put also, let me see, Tank Albedo here because she can taunt the enemies. And all of those play into Nigredo's second skill, because when Nigredo attacks, she will be able to, extend those debuffs. All of those that I told you, all of those characters that I named, you can pair them with her. Either all of those in a single team, or you can put some like this Albedo and Nigredo for a control team, but then also you put this Navi and the other Yuri for a pleiades assist team. So you have double control with Albedo and Yuri. You have an extend control with Nigredo and also an extra control with her ultimate being a silence. And you have an assist team because Nigredo will be performing assist attacks. Yuri will sometimes make Navi perform an assist attacks, and you will still have 2 damage dealers, and so you can, go a control team. Control team, basically, you try to keep the enemies stunned and under control all the time. For example, like one that I can think really fast and say you how it works is Tank Albedo, Nigredo, of course, you will have then, for example, Victim on your team and Seshi. That is a 3 damage dealers team, 1 tank. But there's difference because 2 of those damage dealers are rangers and 1 that is Victim is a mage. What is gonna happen is that by speed, Seshi is gonna play first, or No Dead No Life, however you know her. She's gonna play first. You choose your target of priority, the one that you want to kill first, and you throw her ultimate. You stun that enemy, and you throw that enemy turn meter back 30%. Then Nigredo is gonna play because she has Aeon speed. When Nigredo plays, you can decide either you can silence a second enemy, so 2 enemies are under control, or you can extend the duration of Seshi's stun. If you want to go for the silence, that means that you're gonna try to maximize the control, so the enemies play as little as possible, and you have as little, as you have the danger minimized as much as you can. But if you want to go for the second skill to extend Seshi's stun, then you're playing into her assist rate. So you increase her assist rate, and her next attacks will have more chances of dealing assist, putting her gaze debuff, and all of that. Then, both Albedo and Victim have beyond speed. For example, mine has 189.11 and Victim has 185.30. So my Albedo is slightly faster than Victim. That means my Albedo will play before Victim. So my Albedo plays, and I will throw her down to the second priority enemy for me. Like, for example, the first one could be the damage dealer, and the second priority target will be the healer, so it doesn't purify others. So I throw the taunt of Albedo to the healer. And because Albedo can taunt everyone, because she can taunt all the enemy team at the same time, depending on the effect precision of Albedo and the effect resistance of the enemies, you have guaranteed that the one that you choose, is taunted. But you have a chance that the others are taunted. If you got successful on that and the other enemies are taunted, that means that all the team is either taunted or stunned by Seshi and Albedo. And then you can use the second skill of Victim to deal high area of effect damage on them with a chance of creating, by a hit, creating the Martyr's attack and dealing high critical damage. And the important part, you will lower their magical defense, so next turn Victim ults and does even more damage. But if, for example, the only enemy that got taunted was the one that you were focusing with Albedo, so you have 1 stun by Seshi, 1 taunted by Albedo, and you went to the second skill of Nigredo to extend the one on Seshi, and 2 enemies aren't under control effects, you can use the ultimate of Victim to stun or try to stun those ones, and deal, of course, high amounts of damage. You can decide in that composition who you choose to taunt, who you choose to silence, and all of that. Other variant, instead of Victim, for example, you can go Pestonia. In Pestonia, what it's gonna do is gonna refresh the round of someone skill, the one that you choose, like her skill will heal, will purify, will give 100% turn meter boost, and with her Arclight is gonna reduce the cooldown of the primary target random skill by 1 round, and she has 25% chance of doing that again. So you can use the ultimate of Pestonia Nigredo. You do the same composition, but instead of Victim is Pestonia. You throw the ultimate on Nigredo. Nigredo will have instantly another turn, so Nigredo will have a second turn before the enemies even have 1 turn. And you can choose to throw the ultimate if you haven't used it yet, or if if you only went for the second skill, then Pestonia reduced 1 round of the cooldown of the second skill, then the turn came in, and she has the second skill again, because every turn reduces 1 round of cooldown. So that's already 2, 1 from Pestonia, 1 from the turn meter, for getting an action. So she will be able to throw the second skill again, and you can choose to extend the duration of a different debuff, like she extended Seshi debuff. So if you want to throw the second skill at the same target, she has 50% fixed chance, only 50. So you can fail. What you can do is throw the second skill to the enemy that was taunted by Albedo. So what happens is that because it's a different enemy with a different control debuff, you will have resetted the percentage of the deep attack. So upon hitting, instead of 50%, she will have 100% fixed chance. So you will extend in that play the duration of the taunt on the enemy by another round. So we will have 2 rounds under the taunt effects, and you will already have one enemy different under 2 rounds of stun because of Nigredo and Seshi combo and Nigredo and Albedo combo with the help of Pestonia. Those are the control teams, you know? All of those all those allies that can control, that can stun, freeze enemies and so, and Nigredo. You can change Albedo for Saryusu or for Shasuryu or for Yuri, whatever. You can do your compositions. Where I recommend you always have 2 damage dealers and 1 tank and 1 healer, or 2 tanks. That is the team. If you don't like that because it's too slow or whatever, there is also another a buffers team, a team that is only to increase Nigredo capabilities and performance. That has, by law, has this Albedo, the anniversary one. She offers healings, she offers shields, tour meter increases of 30%, I think. Let me see. Yeah, target tour meter by 30% increase. So she will increase Nigredo tour meter even more aside of Nigredo passive. She will give Indomitable, Debuff immunity, high tier critical damage boost, incredibly good for Nigredo ultimate. She can give critical resist boost, and her passive gives, high tier effect resistance boost, an invincibility for 2 rounds, a debuff immunity, and she will have, some healing. As well as with her arc light, when someone is about to die and they get saved by Albedo, they will also have increased 36 tour meter boost or more depending on the stars. So Albedo gives everything that Nigredo wants and more. You can put Albedo there to guarantee the life of Nigredo, to guarantee that she's not gonna get killed. Then you can put Pestonia for the combo that I told you, to reset the skill of Nigredo and to give Nigredo another turn. You can decide, if you don't like those healers, you can go for Pandora's Actor. Pandora's Actor is gonna be able to transfer enemy buffs to your Nigredo, or give her one of all of these buffs. One of these. And also can purify 2 debuffs. Not only that, he also heals, and every time he heals is dealing damage to the enemy. So you still have a character that can proc Nigredo offensive capabilities with the assistance, while at the same time healing anyone that is in need of a heal. You can also put this Hamuske on that buffers team, because she gives extra damage to her allies based on her physical defense. So not only that, but her skill set with the ultimate, here it can put high tier damage taken down, high tier defense boost to Nigredo. So your Nigredo is more tanky, she's harder to kill, and you increase her chances of survival. And you put high tier defense down on the enemy, decrease the enemy defense by 40%. If you combine that with the Termination set on Nigredo, or the Hot Pursuit at level 5, the enhancement, that is ignoring 40% enemy defense, then you can ignore up to 80% enemy defense and even more with a Termination set. So you can put Pandora's Actor to give buffs and healing. You can put Hamuske to lower enemy defense, increase the defense of everyone, and increase the damage of Nigredo. You can put Anniversary Albedo with Nigredo, so she heals, she shields, she gives invincibility, tour meter boost, she gives Indomitable, she gives everything. You can put her with Victim, because Victim with the passive increases everyone's attack based on his missing HP and his own attack. And if Victim dies, because it's very common that he dies, it's part of his kit, he increases it even more. Pestonia heals, gives tour meter boost and all of that. So you have all of the also Lupus Regina, the healer version. You can combine her there. Here it is. In case that you want an increase on effect resistance, if you know that you are, for example, against a control team, you go with this Lupus Regina, because her ultimate at 6 stars will give effect resistance boost. That is an increase of 45%, which is a ton. is honestly a ton for just one skill being used there. Other character, for example, is this Cocutus. This Cocutus basically is gonna be there if you have it 6 stars. If you have him 6 stars, he can give Indomitable to someone that is about to die, and Indomitable will allow them to survive at 1 HP for one entire round. And because it gives shields, so Nigredo becomes tankier for a little bit of time. You know, increase her survival, but the Indomitable will give you room for error in case that you misplayed something and the enemy went for the kill Nigredo. So Cocutus can keep her alive at least one more round. You can put her with Albedo, so Albedo plays with Nigredo into a control team at the same time that Albedo is constantly shielding Nigredo and increasing, you know, the defensive capabilities of the team. You can also pair her with a Valkyrie Shelter for two things. One, the annoyance, you know, the part that you can annoy the enemy, and the extra healing. The annoyance will be because of the second skill of Shelter. She was gonna put defense down on the enemy, so Nigredo will have an easier time dealing damage to the enemies, and she can throw the enemy turn meter by 20%. So in a same play, you can throw the enemy turn meter back while boosting the turn meter of Nigredo, because every time that the enemies move, Nigredo is gonna have an increase on her turn meter boost. And the healing part, because her negative impact shield will heal the ally with the lowest health on the team when the negative impact shield hits the enemies and when it gets destroyed by an enemy impact. Also, the Piercing Thrust has a chance of putting the Vampire's Hand, a debuff that is gonna heal 6% of the HP of the allies that attack the enemy with the Vampire's Hand debuff. So if you put that debuff on the enemy and Nigredo does an assist, or Nigredo attacks on her turn, Nigredo is gonna heal herself thanks to that debuff. In case that you don't want to roam without healers or something like that. So you can use that. You have a buffers team, you have a control team, you have an assist team, you have a pleiades team, you have a pleiades assist team, you have a speedy team, you know, with the meta characters, and you have also, that I haven't said, now I remember, I just remember that, a crit damage team. Again, it's very similar to the assist team. You can have things like Maid Albedo with her high crit. It can have Entoma with her high crit. It could have Momon, the new one, with his crit, or Senshi, or can have the new Nave, well, the limited Nave, is not entirely new, with crit. Any character that deals high amount of critical damage and has high amount of critical chances, alongside, you know, you could choose one of those that I told you, alongside Anniversary Albedo and the Hamuske, the Robo Hamuske. Robo Hamuske is gonna lower the enemy defense 40%. Then you're gonna have your 2 damage dealers with high chances of dealing critical hits. And this Albedo, not only because it gives incredibly high chances of survival to your team, but because also her ultimate increases the critical damage. Increases by 45%, which is a lot. So, those are the teams. And in the next part, because this video is already long, really, really long, next part, I'm gonna go to the arena, you know, right here, to the combat arena version, the one on the left, and face different teams using the exact same teams and compositions that I told you, based around Nigredo or just with the addition of Nigredo. And, you know, show you how they perform, how good they are, how bad they are. And I'm gonna try to focus on facing different teams. Like, for example, if I go here right now and face, let's say I face this, the ranking 4 enemy that already have been used, you know, the meta character solution, the big team, the Hamuske. Then the next round, I'm gonna try to fight a different team. Like, for example, this one, if this had fully level up characters, like if this climb was level 100, I will face the next time this one instead of the ones on the top, because it's a different team. This team is based on debuffs. It puts burn, it puts bleed, it has shielding, it has invisibility or stealth, and has also healings. While the first team had magical damage that stuns you, it has turn meter manipulation twice with these 2 characters, magical damage, and high physical defense. So that's why I'm gonna try to focus different teams to show you how they work against different teams, different compositions, and you can see and watch what is better for you. What do you prefer? Like, oh, I prefer a control team, or oh, no, a critical damage team is way better because you can kill the enemies very, very fast. Things like that. And to answer the question, I should have said that at the very start of the video, not now, but anyway. To answer the question, if someone is questioning if Nigredo is worth it, yes, I will say yes. If you don't have something like Seshi or Metal Vedo or the new Momon, then Nigredo is gonna be one of your best single target damage dealers ever. If you already have the meta teams, you have Solution, Solution, Metal Vedo, the new Momon, Big Team, and you have the meta tanks, Hamuske, Sisita, and so. Nigredo is not gonna be performing better than the meta team because the meta team is made to work together, and they work really well and they are very powerful if they are together. So if you only get Nigredo and don't think of any composition around her, she's not gonna perform well. But if you are willing to, make a team like the ones I told you with Nigredo in mind, she's gonna perform really, really well. And she is one of those characters that is fair. It's not like Seshi that hits you all the time for 10,000s of damage, never gets hit because she goes into stealth and she has someone to revive her or something like that, and always has the first turn or whatever. She is not like that. Nigredo is actually a balanced character, a little bit nerfed, yes, but she is kind of like a balanced character, and is a perfect mix of a damage dealer, a supporty character, not fully a support, but with a support qualities, and has counterplay. She is actually very, very countered by control teams. If you can stun her or silence her or freeze her or counter, she gets countered by the very same team that she plays very well with. So she gets countered by control teams, but only because of that. Because even the speedy teams cannot outspeed her from time to time. They cannot speed her on the first turn, that's right. But after the first turn, with how many times Nigredo gets 2-meter boost, she literally cannot speed them. I have a match that I already recorded because I was testing teams and so, where I have both Seshi and Nigredo on the same team, and I play both of those characters into the combos that I told you, and Nigredo actually outspeeded Seshi, and by a lot, literally. And Seshi started with like a half the 2-meter boost, like she had a 50 points advantage to start at the very start, and Nigredo had to go almost all the way back, only like 20 points of advantage on speed, and still Nigredo outspeeded her. And my Nigredo has only 218.27 speed, while my Seshi has 236.09 speed, plus the extra 20 from her 4-star. So, yeah, only the control teams can counter Nigredo. Very tanky teams can get destroyed by Nigredo if you really upgrade her, okay? So, yes, she is worth it. Her arc light is worth it if you want to max her. If you are not playing to max Nigredo, like you want to have her as secondary team or maybe a third team, the arc light is not necessary. You can go with other arc lights. You can go with, let me show you really quickly here before I run out of storage on the phone for the recording here. You can go with where it is here with the boost morale, increases the assist rate exactly like Nigredo Arclight, and the user gains more turn meter after an assist, a chase, or a counter. So after an assist, she will have even more turn meter, which is really important, really good, really into Nigredo. I could even go some matches with this instead of her normal Arclight to show you how it is. And you can also go the terribly sorry one. Enters the stealth, she will have increased critical damage and increased critical chance, which is really, really nice in case that you don't have, Nigredo Arclight, which is optional if you don't want to max her. But if you want to max Nigredo, go for her Arclight. That is the best option. Always, the exclusive Arclight is the best option
if you want to max. So yeah, with nothing else to say, the runes, you can go whatever you want, whatever you have on the runes, okay? Here, you can go here on the ranger, whatever you have. Like the best things that you have, put them there, and that's it. You don't need specific things there. So yeah, with nothing else to say, wait the second part. The second part is gonna be out right after the video, I think. Well, 1 maybe 2 hours after the video, because I have to record some of the fights. And yeah, thanks for hearing my awful voice and hearing me rambling about Nigredo, her combos, her recommendations, and all of that for more than an hour. And yeah, if you have a specific request of another character to have a guide, tell me, and I will see if I already made a guide of her or that character or not. The one I have on mind next is the anniversary albedo. At least a quick guide, because she is actually here on banner and I already have her maxed. So yeah. Now that everything is clarified, yeah, it's, I don't know how to make outros or whatever. Thanks for hearing, and until the next time, or until the the guide, the practical guide of Nigredo. And bye bye.